Hello everyone, and welcome to my next YouTube video. Tonight I want to talk about how to help someone that you might suspect is in an abusive relationship. I'm talking to those friends and family members out there that just want to reach out, grab your loved one, and shake them, asking, why can't you see what we see? How do you help a friend that's in that kind of a situation? If you suspect something is wrong, or if you see your friend sporting suspicious injuries, say something. Be sensitive, but encourage them to talk about it. However, wait to do so for when the suspected abuser is not around. Victims are usually less willing to talk openly in front of the batterer for fear of repercussions. Tell your friend about specific times when you were worried for their safety. Maybe you see that your friend often receives harassing phone calls from their partner, or maybe you saw your friend with a black eye. If they don't want to talk about it, respect your friend's decision to remain quiet. If they do choose to open up to you, validate their feelings. Tell them that yes, what they are going through is terrifying, and yes, it is very confusing and difficult to understand. Help them to realize that good partners don't do or say the kinds of things that their partner has done. Emphasize any positive actions they may have taken to protect themselves or their family. Reassure them that no matter what mistakes they've made, no one deserves the abuse that they suffer. Encourage them to spend more time with their own family and friends. It's important for your friend to establish a good support system and become less dependent on the abuser. Get yourself educated on the facts about domestic violence so that you can help your friend to realize the abuse in their own relationship. But don't pressure them to talk about it or to make a decision. It's extremely difficult to talk about abuse, and there are a lot of factors to weigh when it comes to deciding to leave any relationship, especially abusive relationships, as they're a lot more complicated than most. Expect your friend to be confused, and expect them to make several attempts to leave before they actually succeed. It usually takes anywhere from 5 to 7 attempts to leave an abusive relationship before they actually accomplish it. Victims are often baited back into abusive relationships with apologies and false promises. You cannot help someone who does not want to help themselves. That person will never seek help until they realize that there's a problem, and that can take years for them to figure out. All you can do is listen, support them, and empower them to make their own decisions. That person needs to hear that you believe what they're saying is true, and let them know that you're there for them. Offer specific help, be it a shoulder to cry on, or pet or child care, or temporary housing. Provide them with information for the nearest domestic violence shelter, and perhaps a hotline number if you can. Offer to help them to create a safety plan to have in place in the event of an emergency. And it goes without saying that there are some things you don't want to do. Avoid criticizing your friend and do your best to respect their decisions. It's their choice, and you don't help the situation by guilting them into anything. Never blame your friend for the abuse they suffer, or in any way imply that it's their fault. Abuse is never the victim's fault. Don't give them your personal advice. Limit yourself to talking about their options and getting them the information that they need. Try not to overreact to what they're telling you. Doing so can make your friend feel embarrassed or uncomfortable and less likely to come to you for help in the future. No matter how tempting, try not to ask unnecessary questions. Your goal is to be helpful, not nosy. Unless your friend has given you permission, keep anything they tell you confidential. The only time it's okay to reveal information is if you have to call the police for your friend. Never trivialize their sufferings or the difficulty required to leave the relationship. There are so many barriers to leaving abusive relationships. If you have any questions on that, there's a separate video designed specifically for that purpose. Don't place conditions on your continued support. Threatening not to help your friend if they go back to their abuser is not going to help the situation. It's just going to cause more harm. Don't talk about how much of a loser you may think the abuser is. Despite everything, most victims still love their abuser, so disregarding their feelings isn't going to help. Do not confront the abuser. Doing so can not only endanger your friend, it can be hazardous to you as well. Know that simply offering your help can be enough to make you a target. So keep an extra eye out for your safety as well. So that's it for tonight, and if you'd like more information on this topic, I'm leaving some links to some very great resources below. So have a good night.